Coming up on today's wrestling news, a major update on MJF returning to AEW.
A WWE star has undergone a name change.
WWE stars win the AAA mixed tag team titles.
And there is an injury/tag team reunion update as it pertains to WWE.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Sidgwick.
This is the news. So let's talk my best friend, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Obviously, he's been away for a while now. Big movie star.
Oh, fancy
too important for his friends, apparently. No. Obviously, he did The Iron Claw. He was in Happy Gilmore 2. And then recently, he's been off filming Violent Night 2. We reported a while back his sort of crazy schedule going back and forth between, like, popping up on AEW, then I think he was going over to work Mystico, wasn't he? And then obviously going over to Winnipeg to film Violent Night 2. Well, good news. Fightful coming through with a big update on MJF, saying that we're told that the filming of the movie is set to wrap relatively soon, though we've not yet heard when MJF is scheduled to return to AEW. AEW sources indicated that MJF has caught the acting bug and has spoken how much he's enjoyed filming. They're looking to gain additional updates as and when they can. Fingers crossed, though, we get MJF back on our screens very, very soon. Even if, as I saw people in response to this post, as people are suggesting, we get Hollywood MJF.
Hollywood MJF, snooty above it all, doesn't want to be there. That was always like a long-running gimmick of his. I remember one of the, like AEW's got this really cool lore of like match graphics, like Eddie Kingston addresses his enemies, and like the MJF Bar Mitzvah one was incredible. Wardlow versus the Plaintiffs. That was a better gag than it was a match/attraction. But there was also that run of MJF is contractually obliged to appear in Yo City. So yeah, they could do something like that. Look, he is badly needed. There are two things that, Fright Night Dynamite aside, which had a real like spark and creativity, your mileage might vary on whether it was like, too goofy or hokey or whatever, but at least there was a spark and a sense of creative thrust there. I would say in the post All In Texas, do I want to call it doldrums or a malaise?
Malaise, was what I was thinking of.
There's a lot of 7 out of 10s, a lot of 7 out of 10s, a lot of Dynamites, almost defined by the action's really good, the storylines and creative aren't particularly inspiring or must see. AEW is missing two things right now. They are missing like name value and star power, with MJF filming, Will Ospreay injured, Swerve Strickland injured, Kenny Omega like almost constantly uncertain, and AEW is also missing straight up entertainment value. MJF, he is very, very, very talented. He is a prodigy for a reason. He can also offer incredible in-ring matches, but more importantly, I think for AEW at this particular phase, when the good matches are almost becoming a little bit, I don't want to say, I'm hesitant to say boring, but just expected. Like, it would be weird if they didn't have one exciting match every other week. So MJF is a real big miss on AEW television right now. Reading the tea leaves here, connecting some dots, you'd expect a return sooner rather than later. So yeah, that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, we recorded, it's not gone out yet, we recorded a Talking Heads thing recently about what AEW can learn from this year. And what I said was, when you have MJF, you really need to utilise him because, understandably, as has been mentioned here, he's a hot commodity, isn't he? Like, Hollywood clearly like him. They wouldn't just keep casting him in stuff. It's like, oh, he was good in that, and now he's good in this, and then they're going to want more and more of him.
Yeah.
So the limited windows that you have for him, you can't have him just come in and be like, this town's a bit crap, isn't it? And then someone come out and be like, don't say that about our town. You want, like a focused program for him. And I think Hangman Page, as great as last week's Dynamite was, as you say, I think Hangman Page needs an opponent like MJF as well for his world title.
No, I absolutely agree. And here's the thing, like, if this is starting to snowball, this MJF acting bug Hollywood sort of deal, if you're going to use him now as well, it's probably incredibly wise to book him in a really big position on that card, because if he's going to get increasing mainstream publicity and all the rest of it, like having him as your champion and then doing like the honors for someone, if in fact this starts to become his full-time gig, it's probably a good idea.
It's funny, in the weird world of wrestling, imagining someone being like, Max, we love you so much, we want you to be the next James Bond, and him having to be like, right, I'm just going to get rid of this contract that guarantees a title shot for me that I have to declare a week in advance.
I know. Things might be happening for him.
Yeah.
He's always been so incredible as a TV presence. Still, I think, in terms of pure wrestling charisma, the most charismatic guy in the entire industry right now, so it feels like if it is heading one way, it doesn't feel like a shock at all. And speaking of non-shocks, WWE is going back in time, and they're shortening names again. Zelina Vega has now, according to WWE programming in the website, is now simply known as Zelina. It is a slow news day.
Yeah, not a lot going on today,
I
to be
want to
honest.
hear Will Bonner. Call it a hospital pass. It's not really.
Yeah.
2 seconds. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I was woken up by my cat at 3 o'clock, right? And then I was just tossing and turning, and I really struggled to get back to sleep because I kept thinking, oh my God, I cannot sleep. I know I'm going to find out in about 5 hours, but what on earth does Wilborn think about this Zelina Vega name change? So I've been waiting 5 hours for this, have I?
I don't care. It's one of those things.
It is news.
It is.
You can't say it isn't news.
Yeah, can't deny it's not news.
It's not old because it's just happened.
Yeah,
Ergo, it's news.
And technically, it's been published somewhere. Therefore, news. Okay. Look.
Aggregation.
I understand why they've done it,
So-
because obviously they think wrestling fans are thick, and people would go, "Wait a second, Zelina Vega." But she's married to Aleister Black. How does that work, guys? So now they can probably go Aleister and Zelina, or Zelina and Aleister Black, or whatever you want to call it, or just to be like, here's Aleister Black and his missus Zelina.
I will say, right, I thought something to say, thank God, about
Okay.
this, that often, I don't think people care anymore, to be honest. I don't even know why we're covering it as a second story, but it is news, as I said. It's not old, it just happened, so it is news technically, it's news, right? Is WWE gets a lot of just default blanket flack for the name changes. A lot of them were in the past deemed unnecessary. They have done some cool ones, right, in the past.
Yeah.
Like, one of my sort of sacrilegious wrestling takes, don't hurt me, is Cesaro is an infinitely better ring name than Claudio Castagnoli, infinitely. In fact, Cesaro, it works on that sort of, if anyone wanted to chant for him, Cesaro. If I was him, I would have just kept it as Claudio.
Yeah.
Just the phone.
Yeah, I like that.
Castagnoli, it's I don't know, man. It's not the end of the world, it's just a ring name. Who ultimately cares? But all I'm saying is, I think Zelina, that's a cool name.
Do you remember when they were like, we can't call him Austin Theory because people hear Austin and think, wait a second, Stone Cold's coming out?
They couldn't be any more different as professional wrestlers.
Shorty G. Chad Gable. Let's shun that up. What?
That gives me an idea. Shorty G.
I've got a ruler in my name. Yeah, she's called Zelina now. It's fine, whatever.
There is one interesting story coming up, so if the retention is not doing it for you today, we've kept the fourth one, which has got some good news, I would say.
Yes, I agree. Let's move on and talk about new tag team champion spoilers, because this hasn't gone out yet. Sorry about that. I only just read it in my
All
notes.
you AAA mega fans, you seem to surface whenever they do a WWE AAA sort of joint show, and then you go suspiciously quiet after that, when there's no engagement to be had. But if you do exist, you might want to skip ahead a few minutes.
Yeah, some good news, actually, if you're a fan, though, of that sort of thing, because Ethan Page and Chelsea Green are the new AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions. They defeated Michael Hamflet's favourite, Mr. Iguana, and La Hiedra.
He's got such a weird brain, Hamflet, and
We've made a list.
you'd expect him to love Mr. Iguana, and he cannot sanction his buffoonery.
Me and Sige on the podcast, WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, try and keep a running list, and we will write it down at some point, of the weird things that most people like that Hamflet is not a fan of. Christmas.
I can understand that as a father of two, it can be hectic and chaotic, right? But I don't think the magic has ever struck him, right?
No.
As someone who loves club football, isn't shy about telling me about it when his team does better than mine. Knackered. He doesn't like an international football tournament.
Wet.
It's odd. It's like following I don't know. I was going to do an analogy, but Americans don't compete with other nations.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like a stupid thing.
Yeah.
And he likes wrestling bollocks to the point where if a good match happens now, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's kind of the point, mate. But he loves wrestling bollocks, but he will not sanction Mr. Iguana.
No,
And
well-
he'll be delighted with this news.
Well, yeah, indeed. Post-match, Lola Vice came down to comfort Mr. Iguana, and La Hiedra slapped him. So it's seemingly the end of that team. They, of course, won the tag titles, as we all know, from TNA's Decay back in December of 2024. So it's gone all over the place, these titles, basically. But I think Ethan Page and Chelsea Green will be good value for this.
Well, they've interacted previously on NXT, drawn together through their shared love and representation of Canada. It was very old hat, this idea of, I know Canada's great, probably better than the USA if anything.
Yeah.
Absolute route one. Has it ever worked really in pro wrestling with, like, in WCW? WWE did it with the Un-Americans. It says
Canada and TNA?
Yeah, it says something, right, about the shared charisma and genuinely incredible chemistry between Ethan Page and Chelsea Green that is completely old hat fair. They're over whenever they're in the ring together. They have a certain chemistry. It just works.
It just works.
Not genuinely, they're really good together, so I can absolutely see why this has happened.
Yeah, really, really big congratulations to them. I sense they will be boasting more about it on NXT this week, which we will, of course, be covering. But speaking of a former NXT act...
Yes, a cult favourite in WhatCulture Wrestling Towers. There are good news on the...
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy! On the continued existence of a cult favourite tag team, and that is Kit Wilson has been going solo on SmackDown. There was a reference, I believe, made by Corey Graves about the Yes Boy was old stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit frightened.
Me too.
With the idea that potentially Pretty Deadly might not be long for this world now that Elton Prince is injured and all the rest of it. And as well, if you follow like the theme and follow patterns and trends, if they're shortening people's names elsewhere on the show, another old WWE habit would be, all right, okay, well, the tag team partner's injured, half push the other one and then forget they exist and all the rest of it. But no, according to who else but Sean Ross Sapp, he has come through with a report that Pretty Deadly are, likely to come back together when, which one is it? Elton Prince, sorry, I went a bit Dwayne there. The only time ever anyone could ever compare me to Dwayne Johnson is the fact that I often need help remembering my promo notes. Okay, I lose my head as much as Dwayne Johnson does these days with my football team's absolutely horrendous exploits. So I've got a bit of a fragile inability to lose. Elsewhere, he's an alpha male. I'm not. But no, this is great news.
This is really a big relief, especially because of Kit Wilson's interesting new gimmick on SmackDown right now. Bloody toxic masculinity, that's the problem. What? Yeah, he just had a match with Mello, an enjoyable match with The Miz getting involved.
It went 3 minutes,
yeah.
Don't pump it up more than it.
I'll tell you what, we'll pump it up though. Nathan Fraser versus Ilya Dragunov from Friday.
I haven't caught up with it yet, but I will watch it.
That was the tits.
I'm assuming, move for move, it happens on Dynamite and you'd be left bored by it.
Yeah. But under the blue lights.
Absolutely
Hey,
pathetic.
what's this?
Absolutely pathetic.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Elton Prince. Yeah, get well soon to Elton Prince, and absolutely a relief that they are not splitting up this tag team, because I thought in a busy tag team division like they have on SmackDown, I think they really carved out a nice niche for themselves. Me and Hamflet have pitched in the interim because of the weird sort of way it's factored in that, like, Kit's accused Mello of toxic masculinity, then they had the match and Miz gets involved and what have you. Kit Wilson and The Miz, pretty awesome as a temporary tag team.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't hate that.
But yeah, eventually I would have Kit Wilson and Elton Prince reunite because they're awesome, and WWE have already spent the money on the giant disco ball, so you might as well make use of it.
Might as well make use of it, and let's give them a bit of a push.
Yes!
Give them something of substance to do. They were genuinely incredibly charming down in their NXT days when they were allowed to develop their characters, like explore how ridiculous it all was, the entire act. Like more, Road Dogg, I don't ask you for much. In fact, I don't ask you for anything. I don't expect anything. I expect less than nothing from you. But come on.
Yeah.
Isn't Road Dogg's whole thing, and I think he used to do this bit on his podcast, like, am I a better sports entertainer than? The whole idea would be, right, let's get Big Dog, Road Dogg, in the news cycle. Am I a better sports entertainer than Bret Hart? And then he would go, oh, you know, maybe I was. It's like, well, you know. You used to have a catchphrase and you used to have people shout it back at you. If that's what counts, that's what sports entertainment is. All the rest of it. But this guy prides himself on the whole, our wins and losses don't matter. Kevin Owens is a winner. And, you know, sports entertainment, this, pro wrestling, suck my gack, that, all the rest of it. If this guy is Mr. Sports Entertainment and
Yes.
entertainment, and he's so entertaining, and God enough about wrestling, it's all about entertainment. You've got a legitimately entertaining tag team on SmackDown, and the individual members are very entertaining as well. Here's what you've done with them. Nothing I would describe as even remotely entertaining. So put your money where your mouth is, because I hear that your booking is smooth AF. I haven't had that much evidence of it so far.
Well, let us know your thoughts if you're Road Dogg, or if not, in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And while you're at it, I want to check out this video right here. Sige, I've no idea what it is, but I'm sure it's bloody great.
I hope it's not a blank empty space in the middle of the screen.
Bye.